Saturday night, late show. This is Eddmoo. Kevin Fly is in there running the whole show. How are ya? It is. I don't even know what day it is. How sad is that? I think it's the 8th of May. I know it's May. That's pretty good. That's as good as I can do. I can peg the month. We're doing good. How are you guys tonight? A little after 8 here o'clock. A little after 8 here o'clock. I'm not. I swear, really. I just can't talk. Interesting that I chose to do this, huh? Little after 8 o'clock p.m. California. I don't know where that is in the rest of the world, but anyway, wherever it is, whatever time it is, if you're happen to be joining us tonight, then you know what? Welcome. We are glad to have you. This is The Late Show. We are on LOP Radio this evening. Big shout out to them. Thank you for having us. Thank you for hosting us. And yeah, it's Saturday night. We're doing what we do. Eternal's in there. I'm out here. Hope everybody is having a good afternoon, evening, going into tomorrow. Mother's Day. Everybody call your mom. I have to tell you that. It's like the universal truth of the night before Mother's Day because, you know, some people maybe didn't know. Sort of like when you don't know that you're supposed to turn your clocks back and then you wake up on Monday morning and you're either an hour early or an hour late for work because no one thought to told you. Thought to told you. Thought to tell you. All right, I'm glad that there's a music up here because for some reason my mouth ain't working right tonight. Anyway, so yeah, everybody call your mom tomorrow. Wish her a happy Mother's Day. If you don't, I was going to say if you don't have a mom, but everybody's got a mom. You know, in your own way, in whatever form you can, tell your mom happy Mother's Day tomorrow because it matters. Anyway, that's that. So tonight, we're going to be hanging out, playing some good music, talking about the title that I picked tonight was actually, Can You Say That on Internet Radio? And I'm not even really sure if I can say anything on Internet Radio correctly tonight, but we're going to see. We're going to be talking a little bit about, because I was, you know, thinking about things this week like I am wont to do, and was kind of going, wow, thinking back to the show last week, man, we cussed a lot. Said a lot of words. What if you could say that on the radio? That got me thinking. Can you do that on the radio? Can you just burp flagrantly, just out of the blue, just totally like nobody's even listening to you?
I can't repeat
like you're sort of just sitting in the control room and sort of existing in a vacuum.
I need to put a de-esser on you. Oh my God, everything's and
I don't
glass
know.
is breaking.
I don't know
here.
what my problem is. I'm just going with it. I'm just happening. I'm very shushy.
You do it. Do it. I dare you.
I could just do that for like a half an hour. That'd be kind of crazy, huh? And really annoying. Anyway, so as I was saying, before I was so belchiously interrupted.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
It's that cherry 7-Up you drink, man. I swear. That is like the burpiest stuff.
Yeah.
Behind root beer. Like right behind root beer is cherry 7-Up. And then regular 7-Up. But anyway, I digress, as I am wont to do. Anyway.
There, I kicked your S's asses. Try to say
I was actually, you know what? I was actually,
yeah, there you go. Try to get an S through. Oh, wow.
See? I am magic. I can do anything.
You did it.
And see, and I digress even further. This is going to be the show of digression. I have a feeling. Anyway.
Oh, look. We got somebody called Faith Rollies on here. Let me see if I get the room to come through.
Look.
Okay, see if you can talk to this Faith girl.
Can I talk to this Faith girl? Can this Faith girl hear me?
Faith girl, can you hear us?
Dun dun dun. Sounds like a superhero. There she is. This is Miss Faith, everyone. Faith is going to be joining us, helping out here to mod our tiny chat room. How are you this evening, Faith?
I'm good.
She's hanging out. This is her first foray into internet radio, everyone, so everybody be nice to her. Let's give her a big round of one applause.
Wow!
The sound of 2 hands on 1 person clapping. Yay! She's going to be helping out from here on in. We have nobody else in the tiny chat room tonight. I don't know however many people else are out there listening, but nobody's chatting up, but that's okay. We'll just talk to all you people out there that are not brave enough to get on Tiny Chat and join us. That's all right.
Shiny chat?
Shiny chat. I'm just winging that mother. Seriously. Last week or the week before we were talking about making up t-shirts that say cam up. So I think this week we're going to make t-shirts that say The Late Show. Just wing that mother. Because that's pretty much what we do. And I'm going to get back to talking about the topic because, that's what I'm doing. Anybody else in there in the chat room, you guys can feel free to, just hang out in there, listen to us. We got Nikki joining us in there now too. So welcome, Nikki. Hopefully you can hear us and hopefully we're not having major technical issues.
Y'all keep cutting out.
Who keeps cutting out?
She says she keeps cutting out. Okay, so what does that mean? Hi, Nikki. Let's turn her up.
Oh, all sounds well on Nikki's end. That's good. Because we're supremely unprofessional. We don't do our sound checks before the show actually starts. We wait until the show actually is on the air. Then we do all the technical stuff. And that is so blatantly not even true. Eternal's been in there pretty much all day, working the board and setting everything up. It's just for some reason when things go on the air, things go wonky. And I swear, years and years of doing this, it will happen. Everything will sound perfectly in the sound check. And then you go on air. And for some reason, the gnomes get into the machine and everything just turns crazy. So, anyway.
Thanks for telling me that.
Well, I was letting them know. Just in case. So everybody knows that, we're not resting on our laurels over here and really not checking anything before the show goes on the air. That would be really crazy. So, okay, after the burping digression and the talking about the non-sound checking digression, I will get back to what we're actually going to be talking about tonight, which is my thought this week of, what exactly I'm allowed to say and not say on this show. Because, as I mentioned, after years and years of doing this, I finally thought that it might be a good idea to actually think about it. What I could say and what I couldn't say. And can I cuss and can I not cuss? And what is protected speech on the internet? And see, now we're getting into the deep issues, folks. Follow me, children. This is the deep stuff, okay? We're wading out of the kiddie pool and into the deep end where the divers go, so everybody look up so nobody lands on your head. What is protected speech on the internet? Is it something that is protected like any other normal type of print speech? Or are we landing in the realm of radio and TV? And, this all begs the question, too, of discussions about net neutrality and all kinds of different things. And then we get into, after I ponder all of those things, which are actually just, legal and kind of, concrete issues, then we get into the idea of morality and ethics of, well, if I can say something, if I'm technically allowed to say it, I'm not going to get arrested or Guantanamo'd for saying it. Can I actually say it? Should I say it? There's an ethical and moral question that happens there as well in terms of, and I guess anybody that deals with any kind of broadcast medium, print medium, anything that goes out there for public consumption, it's a matter of what can you say, what should you say, and what should you just keep to yourself. So that's where we're going to be going with this evening's topic. We are very excited to have you guys here. I got distracted by something crawling on my screen. Sorry. Very excited to have you all here. This is our third show on LOP Radio. We have to actually give them a big shout out for letting us commandeer their stream every Saturday night from 8 to 10 Pacific time. And we appreciate them letting us broadcast out into the ether and hopefully do it in an ethical and upright manner. Want to be ethical people. To that end, I've actually set up a little challenge for myself tonight. Listening back to the shows for the past couple of weeks, we swear a lot. And sometimes it's for emphasis and sometimes because it's just fun. I am going to try to go the entire show without cussing. Not once. I don't know if I've already done it. I've tried really hard not to. But I'm going to try to actually not. So, and please, if I do, don't anybody catch me. I'll catch myself on the replay listening to it later. But I'm going to try to do that in the interest of thinking about what is actually good to say and not good to say to broadcast out there for the general public. We're going to try. That doesn't apply to you, Eternal. You can swear all you want. You can say.
I'm actually not going to.
You're not going to? You're going to join me in the non-swear show.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, let's try. Let's see if we can get through a whole show. I would bet on, if I had to actually make a bet, I would actually bet that you're going to be able to do it, and I'm going to fail miserably.
Well, you're the one that's talking all the time, so. I got like 4 words for the whole show, right?
And you just used 9 of them.
Yeah, 2 weeks worth right there.
No, you got to give this guy some credit. Doesn't say much, stays on the technical end, but when he does come out with some stuff, you guys better listen, because it's some of the smartest, most right-on stuff you will ever hear in your life. So anyway.
Oh, thanks, Ed.
Well, seriously, I'm over here blathering on. I mean, 90% of what I say you can just chuck out the door. But you've got some stuff to say. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. We're just going to move on.
I said it already.
You did. I said it, you said it, everybody said it. So...
Faith wants to know if she can talk now. Let's see if she can talk now.
Let's see if Faith can talk. Can Faith talk?
Talk. Talk it. Say. Yeah, she can talk, but I don't know if she's saying anything.
Oh.
Yes.
So she just says she can't talk now.
Oh.
She's trying to join us.
Oh, I see. It wasn't so I can talk now, question mark. It was like, oh, I can't talk now.
So I can't. Does this mean you don't have the ability, or your internet is broken?
Well, what the?
Like she somehow just went mute?
Yeah, well, she typed what the right before that. Hey, yeah, what the? It's fart. What the fart? Not again.
We could actually have some real fun with that. We could think up a whole list of
Where's my
substitute words. Wouldn't that be interesting?
I got a farting dog somewhere. Remember that?
Oh, that dog was having some serious... Oh.
Yeah, that one was
That
good.
dog has some serious issues.
No, that wasn't a dog farting. Maybe if it was a dog farting, that dog took off like a rocket. Yeah, he did. He's gone.
Yesterday was Scatological Day.
Scatological?
Yesterday, or was it Friday that was... Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
like that. Yesterday or Friday. No, it was Friday, wasn't that was Scatological Day around the studio here. We had all kinds of...
What the hell's scatological?
What
Is
was
that something you just made up? Hey, Mariga.
No, it was that show that we were listening to that never mind. It was Friday. Anyway, scatological having to do with various things that come out of ends of your body that are not your mouth.
Oh, that's a show? Scatological? No. Man, I'm going to go type it up on Wiki, man.
No, scatological. Good, go find the definition. Absolutely. And you can read it to us.
Well, yeah.
Scatological. That's a 5-syllable word right there. You're getting into like, $10 word territory when you use scatological in a sentence. Oh. But yeah, I guess what I was going to say is that we're just going to remove ourselves from the scatological talk and move on to something that's more, just a wee bit more enlightened. So yeah. That's the direction we're going this evening, ladies, gentlemen, kids, and dogs. We're going to be talking a little bit about what you can say, what you can't say, and what you should say on internet radio. Not really only on internet radio, but this is, this has to do with actually, broadcasts on YouTube, any other internet broadcast site, any place that does, any kind of, Justin TV or even Tiny Chat really could be, is stretching the bounds of internet broadcasting. But, it all has to do with protected speech, freedom of speech, what it extends to, what it doesn't extend to, how far it extends, does it go out to encompass the internet, and all of that kind of stuff. And with the caveat that I know I'm probably preaching to the choir. If you're actually joining us from Lunatic Outpost, then I know I'm preaching to the choir. I know what you guys feel about, freedom of speech, when and where it should be protected on the internet. to what extent it should be protected. But I would just like to, these shows are recorded and they are archived, and it's just kind of good to cover these topics just for the sake of having the topic covered and getting everybody to chime in with what they think. And it's good to put your opinion out there. I happen to believe that if we all think good thoughts and put our feelings out there about different things, then we can affect change just by thinking about it. Doesn't mean we don't need to do things too and follow up, but it's a step in the right direction. So we want to get you all on record this evening talking about what you think about, can I say that on internet radio? I don't know. And we're really, really looking forward to having you all say what it is you want to say this evening on internet radio. And that internet radio show would be The Late Show. That's Eternal in there. I'm Eddmoo here. We're going to be with you for the next about hour and a half or so until 10 o'clock Pacific time. That's, I don't know, 10 o'clock Pacific time. It's the next hour and a half. So wherever you are, add an hour and a half to it. That's how much longer we're going to be around in your world. We'll have the phones open in just a wee bit. If you were around last week, it's going to be the same phone number, but don't call in yet because we're not ready yet. We'll come back. We're going to actually do a couple tunes here, just listen to some good music, kind of ease into our Saturday night. We'll come back. I'll give you a few of my thoughts on the idea of free speech and internet radio, as if you guys really couldn't figure out what I have to say. But yeah, I'll do that. I'll get the ball rolling, see if I can get myself tucked into Guantanamo by the end of next week. And then we will get you guys involved in saying whatever it is you need to say. So, Eternal, you got some good music lined up for these people? I know you do. I've seen you do it. You were lining it up all afternoon. Saturday night. And there it is. 10 over here Pacific time. And like I said, I don't do time calculations anymore. They all have to add appropriately to whatever that makes it in your world. But tonight we are discussing a little bit about what you can and can't say on the radio, what you should say on the radio, how protected is anything that you say, whether or not you can or can't say it or should or shouldn't say it. How exactly protected is that in terms of things like we do here? Because we're actually, you know what, y'all didn't know, you're in the brave new frontier. Not so much anymore, but back when we started this, it was actually the brave new frontier. Internet radio? What on earth? Who had ever heard of such a thing? Eternal had a brilliant idea, and look what it spawned. But seriously, going back into our topic for the evening of, can you say that on internet radio? I actually, for those of you that don't know, I don't know if there's anybody out there that doesn't, and it really doesn't make all that much difference, but started my career way back when in print journalism. I was a reporter for years. I've been pretty much everything. I was an editor. I did, the writing of the copy for ads and a little bit of everything. Have worked at mainstream media outlets. Back then it was just newspaper. Have really done nothing before this in terms of broadcasting, but have also worked at what they used to call, the fringe papers back then, the little free, I think every town has one of those, a little free paper. Up here it's called the Mountain News. Back where I come from, it was called the Reader. It's called different things in every town, but it's basically the same thing. It's the artsy fartsy paper. It's the free thing that's, on the little racks outside of every restaurant and barber shop and little boutique in town. Free, take one. And they make all their money because all they have is, 3 or 4 articles in the whole paper, and the rest of it is, ads and classifieds and people selling things and pictures of local people doing crazy local people things. But anyway, so I've done it all. I've been in mainstream media and I've been in alternative media. And when the chance came for us to do, way back when, start up some internet radio, we just, gung-ho-ly, not gung-holy, holy gung, Batman. No, we just kind of jumped in with both feet, Eternal and I, and we didn't really pay too terribly much attention to the legalities of anything, which could have gotten us in some real trouble. Luckily didn't. But this time around, we're paying more attention to things and kind of trying to get our P's and Q's in order, our ducks in a row, any other cliche you'd like to throw in there about how we want to do this right. And that led me this past week into thinking, what can you really say on internet radio? Is it the same as anything else? Is it the same as what you would say on a mainstream radio station, something like, George Norrie or Alex Jones or something like that, or on TV, or, even in print journalism these days, there's things that, you can and can't do. But, I did a little bit of research, and, I actually came up with this really interesting, it's called Legal Perils and Legal Rights of Internet Speakers, an outline with citations. And this thing is like, you can't hear that, the page is flapping, but it's long, and it gives you, every single page has court citations and different cases and things like this that are designed to protect the quote-unquote internet speaker. And since I am speaking to you on the internet, I guess that makes me an internet speaker. So I got this, and I was looking over it this week, and I went kind of, wow, okay, that scares me. Have we moved past the idea, everybody knows that the Supreme Court has stood behind the internet as being free speech is protected on the internet the same way pretty much that it's protected in print, that it is not the same as television and regular radio. But, there are challenges to that every day. It seems like everybody's got their knickers in a knot about something in terms of what's being broadcast on the internet, what people are listening to on the internet, what the children are listening to, who's listening to what they're saying, what they think about what people are saying. There's a whole cottage industry that has to do with this. But what I'm not really interested in the legalities or the cases. I am, but we're not going to talk about that because we'd be here till 4 a.m. What I'm interested in is the idea of, while free speech is protected on the internet, and I know pretty much everybody out there, since you're coming to us from an alternative media, quote unquote, site, in the loosest sense of the term, yes, it's a forum that we're coming through and that we're affiliated with, but it talks about news from a different perspective. It does not necessarily rely on, I'd be very shocked to find very many citations to very many mainstream news outlets over on, Lunatic Outpost. And not to say that you can't find them, and not to say that they aren't necessarily valuable, but people if you're coming to us from there, you're pretty much, I know I'm preaching to the choir. I know that you guys are behind the idea that the mainstream media basically sucks, and that basically all media is going to end up being alternative media in the future, because mainstream media is very short-lived because they simply haven't grown. They have not evolved. They are corporate. They're bought. For goodness sake, if you go on CNN, and, I am so tired of going on any given mainstream media site or television show or magazine and reading about things that are simply not news. I don't care where Brittany and Paris went to dinner last night. I don't care, about the puppy shelters. I do, but that's not news, okay? All of these stories that they put up that fill things, they're not news. I am schooled way back when journalism meant something, when there was a standard of ethics and a code of behavior. And yeah, okay, your bills were paid by somebody, but they basically let you go out and do what you need to do as a reporter. And part of your job, yes, was to write the story and make your bosses some money, because you were going to, at the end of the day, everybody has to get their paycheck and they want to make money by selling newspapers. But there was also an implied obligation to the public. And that's all the further we're going to go on that for the evening. Well, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother night. What we're talking about tonight is the advent of free speech on the internet. Now, all of this is translated over to the internet in terms of, you have all of these sites that have popped up just even in the last, since we started doing this way back in 2005. You have so many more alternative news sites and outlets out there that were never there before. And the Supreme Court has upheld that we are protected by free speech. We're not the same as television and radio, regular radio. I'm talking about broadcast radio. It's not the same. It's not exactly, the free speech protections are different. We get more leeway, basically. But that also begs the question of what is right. Now, free speech is free speech, and you'll never hear me speak against it. I'm of the Voltaire school. I may not like what you say, but I will defend your right to say it. And anybody that comes on this show pretty much knows, if you were with us way back when, and if you're with us now, you'll know that, if you come on here in a respectful manner, you can pretty much say anything you want, express any opinion you want, be ready to defend yourself, but we're not going to censor people that come on here based on what they say or the opinion that they have. But that also, all of this thinking about what we're allowed to say, maybe we are allowed to say it. Maybe I am allowed to get on here and talk about any darn thing I want to say. I could get on here and say that, Al-Qaeda's cool. I don't really think that. Please don't send the men in black coats to my house. I really don't believe that. But I could get on here and say a whole bunch of things. Pink is blue and up is down, and, Santa Claus is my hero, and I'm protected. But does that necessarily mean, like I just said, Al-Qaeda's cool? Should I say that? That begs an ethical question. And I believe even the obvious proponent that I am of free speech issues, and I am in it for pretty much allowing anybody to say anything, anytime, as long as you don't hurt somebody else or you're not trying to defame them, speak your mind. That's where I stand. But I am also very much of a mind for myself that there are certain things ethically that you just don't want to say. Certain things that need to be treated with care and respect, and certain situations that need to be, maybe if not glossed over, maybe just treated with a little bit more kindness than they are necessarily. And I have to come out and say it, folks. This is the one thing that I find fault with the alternative media sites and alternative media, quote unquote, alternative media. I mean, what does that even mean anyway? It just means not mainstream media. I guess we're talking, not CNN and not Fox News and not CNN.com and not the Huffington Post and whoever it is that we're talking about that has been lumped into the mainstream versus the alternative. And, the one fault, getting back to my point, that I do find with the alternative media sites is that sometimes no holds are barred. Sometimes they dig a little past the bone. And if I had any, bone to pick, no pun intended, goodness gracious, it would be with that, is that, I guess I'm just old school. I guess I am just schooled from the way journalism used to be. And I guess coming from print into broadcasting, I have a whole different kind of background there as well. Print is necessarily grounded in facts. You can't hear somebody from a newspaper article. You're reading what they say. They have to get everything across in words. And here you can hear the nuances in my voice. You can hear if I'm being sarcastic. You can hear if I'm, poking a little bit of fun at somebody. You can hear if I'm particularly angry, even if I'm reading the same sentence. Okay. And that's where things kind of get out of control in my book. And that's my 2 cents on it, is the fact that sometimes things are said that may not ethically, morally speaking, should not be covered the way they're covered. And I find that happens a lot. I find in alternative news outlets and what they do and how they tend to, I guess I can't even really say that, but occasionally when they report things, you have to admire, though, the vehemence there with which, people go out and are pursuing the news these days. They, with a vengeance, people are out there trying to get at the truth. And I absolutely give credit to anyone out there that's doing a news blog, that's talking about what's happening in their hometown, that's going anywhere and trying to figure out the truth on anything. We need more of that now, not less. We need more people out there starting up local sites, talking about the news that their local TV or newspaper reporters won't talk about. All I'm saying is that there is also, along with the idea that, yes, your free speech is protected, yes, it's better on the internet because we do have more protections than a local television or radio show might have. We need to take a little bit of care with what we're doing. And with the whole internet thing still being in its infancy, I mean, people, this is less than, well, actually about 20 years old, something like that, the internet is, that's still just a baby. The internet's just a little baby. It's just tiny and small and doesn't really know what it's doing sometimes. While it is being a great boon to a lot of the things that we're going through now, I mean, good gravy, we wouldn't know half of the things that we probably know these days if we depended on CNN or any of the networks for our news. God, I can't even imagine doing that. And I come from journalism. I come from that. You know, back when what I did was mainstream media because that's all there was. But now, I can't even imagine somebody coming up in the business and actually going that route. I can't even imagine unless they want to make money. But again, that's a whole nother show for a whole nother night as well. So I guess if you want me to sum up my take on it in a nutshell, and you guys all know, I love being on the internet. I love doing what we're doing. I love talking to people. I love figuring out and finding out what people's situations are in any given niche in the world. We talk to people all over the country and all over the world, and I absolutely love it. Wouldn't trade you guys for anything. But there are some concerns, and I guess I would just say slow down a little bit. If you're out there and you do a blog, or you do, you try to do hard news postings, or you try to do whatever you do, have a little bit of, the idea of can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater. Be careful with what we say, because there are consequences to the things that we say, and that's all that I'm going to say about that. I don't want to get too terribly far into it because, free speech is a good thing, and I would never want anybody to actually infer that I'm trying to put a limit on people's speech. But anyway, that's what I've got to say about that. Would love to hear what you guys have to say about it. What do you think about free speech on the internet? Like I said, I know I'm preaching to the choir. I really already know what you guys have to say, but we'd like to get your opinions on record. Have you guys shout off, because Eternal is actually recording this, and it'll be there for posterity. So we'd love to have you join us either in Tiny Chat or give a call up to the show and just kind of say what you have to say and put your 2 cents onto this recording for posterity so that everybody can know what you think. So free speech, the internet. If you have something to say about net neutrality, I didn't really get onto that because we've actually, I got off kind of in another direction. But if you have something to say about net neutrality, we'd love to hear you, shout out, sound off. I was trying to say 2 things at once. About that as well. And then also about the ethical implications. And that can be just generally speaking about, what should journalists do? What do you think? And I really love listening to people that aren't in the business talk about what they think journalism should be and what journalists should do, because that gives us a better idea of, how we should pursue things and what we should say and what we shouldn't say and what we should cover and what we shouldn't. So we would love to have you guys chime in. We're going to go to another song here for just a minute so I can take a drink of Pepsi and clear my head. I don't know if Eternal's got any technical issues that he's in there dealing with, but it sounds all pretty good in my ears. Did a wonderful job hooking things up this week as usual. So we'll be back in a minute. This is The Late Show. We'll get the phones open. So you guys think about what you think about free speech on the internet and the moral implications. What should and shouldn't be done. We'd love to have you chime in. We'll be back in a minute. The Late Show, Saturday night. All right. This is The Late Show on LOP Radio, LOP Radio. I still don't know which one I should say. We got a few more people joining us over there in Tiny Chat. Most notably, Aussie Blow, Kai, Aussie, a couple other people. Flatland, don't know who you are. Hello. Miggy. What an interesting little name. How cute is that? Hi, how is everybody doing on Saturday night? We're going to listen to another tune or two here, and then we'll be back. We'll get the phones on. Woohoo, phones. You guys can call up and give us your take on what we're talking about here. Doing a little conversation tonight about, free speech on the internet. Be interesting to actually, maybe if we can get Aussie in here to get his take on things, being from not the United States, to, how other countries deal with the internet and protections of free speech and the like. So we will do that. Hi to everybody hanging out on Tiny Chat. Hi to everybody over on Lunatic Outpost. We are glad to have you here with us tonight. We will get back into just another little song or two here, and then we'll be back to talk and answer phones and all of that, and maybe we can get Aussie in on the tiny chat. So hang out with us. This is The Late Show, Saturday night, little after 9 over here on the left coast of the wonderful United States of America. Ain't it great? We love it. Ha! Pretty much because we were born here and are too lazy to leave. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. Oh my goodness. See, that's what scares me. I never know who's listening. I never know if the men in black coats are down the street with a van pointed at the studio here going, oh, look what she said this time. Holy crap. Anyway, this is The Late Show. Lunatic Outpost is broadcasting us every Saturday night from 8 to 10. Hope you guys are doing well this evening, midway through your weekend. Hope you're having an awesome one. It's the first part of May, so spring has pretty much sprung every place else, but here it was cold and windy today, actually, here in our neck of Lake Tahoe. But hopefully, actually, the daffodils are coming up around town, so maybe the snow is done. Never know. Anyway, so tonight we are doing a little discussion, getting everybody's 2 cents on free speech and internet broadcasting. What can you say? And what do you think you should be able to say? We're actually going to open up the phone lines. I have the little sticky piece of paper here. Hear it? That actually has the 800 number written on it. I managed to not lose it from last week. This is the same sticky piece of paper. So, somebody out there be proud of me. It is 1. This is the number, by the way, folks. So, if you're out there, and actually you have to be in the United States, so anybody who is not joining us over here, I'm sorry, we haven't worked out the idea of an international call-in number yet, but we will. We'll get there eventually. Picking up a slow amount of steam with this whole situation. So the 800 number for you to call in toll free if you would like to chime in on the idea of anything related to free speech and internet broadcasting. Did I just hear my old music? That's it. Oh, sorry. Oh my goodness. Can I just have a deja vu moment? Just a small one. That's awesome. I love this song. And I'm all in green today, too. So I'm kind of, we're a couple months late for St. Patrick's Day, but it's all good. Anyway, the 800 number to call in. If you want to even just call up and say, hi, listening to the show, sounds like crap, love it, hate it. Even if that's all you want to call up and say, we would love to hear from you on Saturday night. Or if you just want to let us know, just large brain trying all the thoughts trying to come out of a little tiny talking orifice. It sometimes doesn't work. But anyway, we'd love to have you chime in about the topic or just kind of what's going on in your life this evening. So anyway, 1-866-612-9746 is the number to call in. I'm actually going to post that over on Lunatic Outpost as well. So if you don't actually get it right there and you didn't hear it, I'll even actually say it again. 1-866-612-9746. And no, if anybody out there really wants to make up some funky acronym with those 10 letters, then feel free to do so. I have not actually sat down with the phone and tried to spell anything with our phone number yet. So maybe somebody out there that's really industrious and has time on their hands could actually do that. Can you think of anything interesting that might spell, Eternal? 1-866. I don't even know. You can't put the 1 on there, though. You got to spell something with, his mic is off. That's okay. I don't know what it would spell. Anyway, we'd love to have you call in, or if you would like to actually join us over on Tiny Chat. We've got, actually, Aussie Bloke is over there on Tiny Chat. He's cammed up and everything. If you'd like to say anything about the topic at all, Aussie, or if you'd like to just, spout off about what's going on over there halfway around the world, we'd love to hear from you. We went to the grocery store with Aussie once, and that was awesome. That was the most fun thing ever, seeing an Australian grocery store or a New Zealander grocery store.
Online.
Yeah, online. We did it actually through.
We didn't fly over there and go to the store with them. No. We
hopped
online.
a plane.
We went shopping with Aussie Bloke.
We flew over to Australia just to go to the grocery store. We got back on the plane and came back. That is sort of what that sounded like, isn't it? That's ridiculous. Oh,
we fixed it.
That's not what I meant. Anyway, no, we had this whole setup in a different tiny chat, doing a different thing one evening, and Aussie took us all, a group of us, online through tiny chat to the grocery store, and we bought some meat, and he went home, and it was very interesting to actually, the joys of the internet. And that's, I have to say, I'm not meaning in any way, shape, or form tonight to bash anybody that does anything online, especially our brothers and sisters who are out there on the front lines of alternative media and reporting the news online. We love you guys. You're absolutely awesome. Everybody out there doing it is definitely on the side of the right and the just. And can't even say enough good things about people that take time out of their lives to actually go out there and do this stuff, to go out in their communities and around the world and find news, talk to people, and that's what's going to get us through this whole thing, folks. That's what's going to actually, make things better in this world, is if we all start coming together and start realizing that, hey, no matter what our governments tell us, we're all really not that different. And no matter what our government here in the United States tells us, it's not all that, we're not all that different. We're no different from somebody in Louisiana is different from somebody in New York, and we all have the same issues. And if we can come together and actually talk about things, we kind of touched on this last week, then we're actually going to be okay. We're going to be all right. As a species, I guess we could even go that far. We could, we could be okay if we just talk to one another and find out that we're not all that different. So
can we all just get along? Yeah.
Rodney King's a drug addict. I'm sorry.
I know, Ed.
Did everybody see him on Celebrity Rehab? That was
we're
just
lucky
sad.
to see that. That we're talking about media. We got lucky on that.
That's true. Anyway, love to have you guys say, whatever it is that you think about what's going on the internet, alternative media. Do you think they go too far? I'm not talking about, Jeff Rentz or George Noory or Alex Jones or, ATS or LOP or that other one that ends in something LP or anything, I'm not, but I've been to some sites and they go a little bit overboard in their zealousness, and I guess you could put it off to infancy. You could put it off to the idea that we're still all trying to find our way in the medium of internet broadcasting. We're not all real sure, because there's lots of, I don't want to say unprofessional they're doing, but a lot of people that weren't trained in journalism, but they're just out there trying to do it. They're out there trying to put their truth and their news out there for people to see, to kind of make up for and mitigate for what's going on with the mainstream media, and when I say mainstream media, unfortunately, anybody who's joining us from overseas, I know Aussie, of course, and anybody else who's joining us is, when I talk about the mainstream media, I'm talking about outlets here in the United States. I'm talking about our CNN, our Fox News, our MSNBC, and our magazines and our newspapers here that are just really, in my opinion, and yeah, I'll go ahead and step out on a limb and put it out there, doing a piss poor job. And piss poor is not cussing. Piss poor. I can say that. That does not fall into the realm of
We got
cursing.
a phone call.
We have a phone call. Alrighty then. Hello. Hello?
Hey, Eddmoo, it's me.
and me would be? Identify yourselves for all those who are joining.
Omega.
I knew that. I was just wanting you to say it so
I'll
that everybody
keep it
out there.
short. I'm just trying to help you guys out, okay?
Thank you. Appreciate it. What do you got to say tonight, Omega?
Well, it's real simple and it's real short and it's broken down into parts. Yeah, you can say what you want on the internet, and as long as you don't cross certain lines like libel, sedition, threats that that sort of thing. But you got to keep in mind, the internet is now totally monitored by the U.S. government. So they're just like a huge vacuum cleaner. You don't think they're studying this stuff? I can guarantee you they are. Psychologists, psychiatrists, Facebook, the tweets, and all that shit. They're studying all that shit because it's the new deal. As far as bloggers are concerned, financial bloggers called that crash a year before it even happened. I was involved in some of that action.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing wrong with people challenging mainstream media at all. I mean, I would encourage them to do it. There's so much that you could do. Look at this oil, man. I got myself like a 40-hour education researching this stuff. Looking at CNN and all this other stuff online,
mm-hmm.
and then going to oil drilling forums where these guys drill oil, deep water oil platforms, and see what they had to say about it.
Wow. Yeah.
What they had to say about it is completely different than what the mainstream media had to say about it. That's the beauty of the internet. That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. The one point that I would make is that I understand the concept of sedition, but that line is so gosh darn slippery, Omega. I can't really concern myself. I mean, I'm not going to stand here and call anybody to go blow up a building or this, that, or the other thing. But if I'm going about the normal course of my life, talking about things that are important to me, and they want to come and slap the sedition sticker on me, I guess there's really nothing that I can do. Because if the line slips that far, and I understand about libel, and I understand about threats and terroristic speech and all that kind of stuff, but some of that stuff, some of it is concrete, some of it you can prove, and some of it is something that they're going to use for whoever the heck they can actually tag with it that they don't like. And, I don't know how anybody else out there feels that does broadcasting or does, internet broadcasting, I'm saying, or writes a blog or whatever it is that people do out there in terms of the internet experience and news. But that's how I feel about it. If it gets down to that, then if it really gets down to that and they start doing that, then they're going to hear a whole lot more crazy stuff coming from me. That's for sure. Because if it goes that far, then we're in real trouble.
Well, we already are. Okay, I mean, look. My comment last week of buy guns wasn't an offensive comment; it was a defensive comment.
Sure.
In case society collapses,
sure.
But the U.S. government could construe that to be an offensive comment. And there have been times when I have made offensive comments on the internet. You know me; we've been around the block for a long time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is now where do you draw the line? And there's a whole area of legal law, internet law,
mm-hmm.
that is just in its exploratory stage.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of lawyers, they don't know how to. First of all, you got to compel a judge to, if you have a libel issue with somebody,
mm-hmm.
To get ISP to release, laws and all this stuff. I mean, it's just a big, complex, technological issue. And it goes along the same deal that technology is not always a good thing. It is
right.
In a lot of ways, it's a double-edged sword. Because now, I'll tell you what's going on here, and then I'll shut up. Look, back in the old days, 30 years ago, the nightly news wasn't all gloom and doom.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at their news cycle, it's all gloom and doom. Murders,
yep.
motherfuckers get run over by trucks, whatever the fuck. And so people get conditioned to that. Yep. And so then when they start to question what they're being told, it's when they come up with alternative news, which a lot of it is theory.
Mm-hmm.
Because they no longer trust their government or whoever's feeding them their information. So they have gone to alternative news, which, you still have to comb your hair through it and do your own due diligence and determine where the truth of the,
mm-hmm.
and set your mark where you think the truth is. Right?
Well, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Who do you believe? Who do you believe now?
Who do I believe? Are you asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you, who do you believe? I'm pretty sure from what I know from you and your husband that you do your own due diligence research. I'm sure you just don't sit in front of a boob tube and take that shit in and just go, what the fuck is this?
Well, and it should come as no shock to anybody that even back when, you could marginally trust mainstream news outlets, that doing your own due diligence, as you state, and backing things up with as much research as you could do on your own was always a good idea. I mean, nothing that's ever bought and paid for can ever be trusted 100%. And I don't care if you go back to the days of Walter Cronkite and Edward R. Murrow and you talk about the golden age of journalism, there's still stuff that's suspect from way back then. You always have to do your own due diligence, and you always have to research things on your own if you ever want to know the full story and you ever want to have the absolute truth. And I personally don't even believe that absolute truth even exists. I don't think it's ever going to be known. It's not something that we can ever know. I guess I shouldn't say that it doesn't exist, because I'm sure universally out there, yes, there is black and white. But are we as people ever going to know it? No, it's never going to happen. But in terms of, the slippery slope that we've fallen down now, you're absolutely right. I remember back when I was learning the trade that they told you specifically you can't have all bad news, quote unquote, a big B, big N bad news, because people won't buy it. They'll go off to something else. They'll listen to the radio or they'll see a movie. They won't buy your newspaper. They won't listen to your broadcast if you have all bad news. But we've been conditioned into such a society of fear these days that we expect it. Just like you said, we're conditioned into it. We expect to hear all bad news. They feed us all bad news. And so we see, they told us. That's exactly what we thought it was going to be. So it's no shock. It's absolutely, it shouldn't come to a shock to anybody, because we're, as much as people want to cry and moan, I'm trying not to cuss this whole show, but it's getting remarkably harder and harder.
I will, if you won't.
No, as much as people complain and moan about the whole idea of, they're not telling us the truth. We don't know what's really happening. Well, you know what? You were just as complicit in it all along. All you started to care about in the last 30 years was your car, your house, your job, and what's on the television other than news. So you can't really complain with what you're getting now. Nobody can complain. All we can do is move on from here. And what people are doing to move on from here is going to the internet. People are taking it, especially a lot of younger people, God bless them. They're taking it into their own hands and they're saying, screw this. I'm not going to believe these people anymore. I've got a camcorder. I can set up a freaking WordPress blog in a hot minute, and I can go out there and I can tell people, especially in the bigger cities, what's going on in my town, what I see. And God bless them for doing it.
Yeah, but a lot of that is social networking with these young people. They don't actually blog a whole lot.
Well,
you remember that the first time you and I ever did a radio show, you remember that rant I did on television, correct?
Yes.
Well, there you go.
And
so
nothing.
Wean yourself off that.
Nothing has changed, Omega. Nothing has changed. It's worse even.
Worse.
Yeah, it's worse even. Yeah.
Look at the news cycle. If you work in the industry, look at the news cycle now. Mm-hmm. It's doom and fucking gloom. Does it surprise you that people are freaking out and going to alternative news media? I'm sure it does not.
No, not a bit. Not a bit.
I could send you some links to some dudes that are on drilling oil, deep water oil exploration boards, that you'd freak out what these motherfuckers are saying about that oil spill.
Yeah, oh no.
You have to study about some terminology and shit.
Yeah.
You'd freak the fuck out. You'd be like, what the fuck?
That is a really good example of what we're talking about here. That particular story. Yes, it is.
Dudes that have been in the industry for 30, 40 years say, I know what the hell's going on. It's just not a conspiracy. It's just a exploratory oil drilling board.
Yeah.
That's all they do there, is discuss stuff like that. When I found that board, I was like, ooh, this is extraordinarily dangerous.
Wow.
Because this is going directly against what the mainstream media is saying.
Mm-hmm. I
So
don't know.
the internet is a great thing, but conversely, and then I'll shut up and get off the damn telephone, is conversely, understand that the U.S. government does use this as a huge funnel or a siphon. It siphons all the data off of it, and then it gleans information, social networking information,
right.
information on individuals and all that stuff. So it's not a clean sweep here. It's a great thing, but there's a price to pay.
Well, and nothing created by man is ever clean or completely good or completely does whatever the man that invented it was intending it for it to do. But I'll stand behind people on the internet probably 100 times more than I would ever stand by. And that, it pains me to say that to no end. I have to say, doing what I did for years and years and years, but it's dead. It's dead. That type of media, that type of reporting, it is no more. It's entertainment now and nothing more. And if you want to really know what's going on in the world, go to the internet.
Entertainment and shock value. Yep. I agree.
Yep, 100%.
We agree 100%.
Well,
all right.
As always, thank you for the very calm and moderated comments. That's our friend Omega. Thanks, Omega. Appreciate it as always, calling in and giving us.
Y'all have a great evening.
Absolutely, you too.
Bye-bye.
Always has the interesting things to say. Mr. Omega does.
Thank you.
Did we have a beep? What was the beep? I don't know what the beep was. Anyway, doesn't matter what the beep was. That was Omega chiming in on our topic for this evening, and he's 100% right, folks. Really, And what I was going to ask, here's another interesting question to pose that I didn't get to ask, but I'll pose it to everybody else out there. And if you guys would like to either cam up or call in, you can answer the question that I will ask. I'll give you the 800 number actually now. It is 1-866. Wait a minute. I can't even read my own writing. 1-866-612-9746 is the 800 number. That only works here in the United States. If you are outside the United States, you are going to have to cam up in Tiny Chat to get in and actually put your 2 cents in here with what we're talking about this evening. But doing a little bit of reading this week about the Madrid Protocol on covering trademarks, internationally speaking. It is, a treaty that was signed. There's like 79 or 80 members now internationally. And if you trademark something in one of the member countries, the trademark kind of, disperses itself out to all the other member countries, and they will enforce your trademark in different countries and things like that. And I know suggesting any kind of controls on the internet is sort of very taboo, and all the different countries have their different ways of dealing with things. And I would just be interested, would anybody get behind something like that for say international laws about different things in terms of libel and threats and things like that? Should there be some kind of Madrid Protocol covering things about free speech issues online? I'd be interested to, and I don't know the answer to that one. I mean, personally, the idea seems good, but it also seems a little bit scary in terms of anything you put in the government's hands tends to get overblown and tends to get a little bit scary and blown way out of proportion, and they take it where they want to take it and not where it was ever intended. But that's a good question to think of too. If anybody would ever think of some kind of controls that would be good to place on the internet in terms of free speech and what you should be able to say. And as Omega was listing, things concerning libel and things that are quantitative. I have to actually state that, because the ideas of sedition and terroristic speech and that kind of stuff, I get really scared when people start trying to throw those words around, because yes, they exist, and yes, our government uses them like none other. But like I said, that line is very slippery, and I would really hesitate to move into some kind of Orwellian, proposing some kind of Orwellian control in terms of that kind of speech, because then that just smacks of world government, and I don't even want to go there. So anyway, but anything else you would like to say about the whole entire topic of free speech on the internet, alternative media versus the mainstream? In fact, actually, we could get really, really simple. Where do you guys get your news? Where does, everybody listening, what's your main source of news? And I'm not talking about, people's updates on, their status or whatever you call it on Facebook. That does not count. I'm talking about real news about what's going on in your town, your state, your province, your country. Where do you find out about that? Or do you even? And I'm not even, passing any judgments on anybody about what they listen to or what they choose not to listen to, or anything like that. I would just like to hear, where you guys actually get your news, and do you think your source is valid? Do you trust the source that you get your news from? And have you, in the last 5-10 years, something like that, have you changed remarkably where you get your news from? Would really, really like to hear from anybody out there that would like to chime in or anything at all. The 800 number, 1-866-612-9746. We'll play a song or two here, let you guys wrap your mind around all that was just said, and a couple questions. But we will come back. It is about just a little after 9:30 over here in California. We're going to be going till 10 or just a little bit after, depending on if we're stepping on somebody's toes on the stream. But this is The Late Show, LOP Radio. I'm Eddmoo, Saturday night. Glad to have you with us, guys. Enjoy. All right, I'm on. Am I on? I can hear myself. Wow, we just lost the stream, guys. It completely cut out. Interesting. That just went away. I was jamming to that song, and we were gone. Whew. Quite the interesting thing right there. My modem is over here flashing and stuff. All right. Chat room. What am I telling the chat room? Oh, there we are. We're back. We are back, chat room. Tiny chat peoples. Our tiny chat peoples. Our tiny peoples. The internet stream. Oh, there, it's back. Wow, that was interesting. Wonder who we pissed off. All right, you know what? That's what we mean by interactive reality radio. That's the reality part of it, folks. Everything that happens here, you guys are going to know about it. We are not one to put any kind of canned music up there and let you guys wonder what the heck is going on. We'll always tell you exactly what's happening. All right. Well, that was interesting. This evening was going along way too smoothly with no technical glitches. So we are testing. We're testing. Eternal's testing, and it's test number 2. Not 1, not 3. Test number 2. I guess we'll get back into this song. We'll just groove for a minute. I love this song, by the way. Favorite thing ever. Enjoy it. We'll be back in a minute, guys. All right, folks. It is about 9:45 over here in our neck of the woods. How's everybody doing? Hanging out either with us on Lunatic Outpost over there in the thread. Thanks for everybody that is actually listening anywhere you're listening from. If you're listening over here in Tiny Chat or from the LOP Radio, the stream over there. Glad to have you with us. We're going to be here for another little close to 15 minutes, something like that. Love to see everybody over here in Tiny Chat exercising their constitutionally protected First Amendment rights to freedom of speech on the internet. That happens to be our topic for this evening. Anyway, Yeah, that's what we're doing. Nobody's camming up. That's very interesting. Everybody's so brave to talk about stuff, but nobody will cam up and actually give them their opinions. What are you, scared? Bunch of pansies. Nah, I'm kidding. That's all. Look, we have somebody brave. I don't know. This would be Faith Aroli. Don't know if she's actually. Oh, and we have Pudding Party joining us as well. Wait a minute, I have to mute people because I have to hear you on the stream and not through the tiny chat. Pudding Party, that's a very nice hat you're sporting there, sir. Where are you at? Tell everybody where you're located and what would you like to say to us this evening? Can he say anything? Is he saying anything? No, he's just hanging out there. Okay. I'm just seeing people on their cams. That's fine. That's fine. You guys can say or not say. Doesn't really matter either way. That's good. We're hanging out for the rest of the night. Appreciate you guys joining us. Winding down in terms of the evening. If anybody would like to call and get your last minute thoughts in on our topic, then that would work. 1-866-612-9746 if you would like to do that. Have anything to say about free speech on the internet, what we should do, what we shouldn't do, that kind of stuff. You can feel free to call in. But we're doing this every week. We are here from 8 until 10, that specific time here in the United States. And, you know, you can feel free to join us. We've got a lot of plans for the show, actually. We're going to be, you know, showcasing some new music. We're going to be moving on with the topics. Got a whole bunch of different things in the offing in terms of building up the late show and having you guys be here to join us. As we have told you all along from back in the day and today, this is interactive reality radio. You guys know every little bit of thing that goes on here, and the interactive part is you guys. We want to get you guys involved and need to get you guys involved because, you know, while I could and would absolutely sit here and talk for 2 hours straight, that would just get really boring. Anyway, so that's the thing. We need to have you guys involved, and we're going to, you know, do more things in the future to get you guys into letting us know what's going on wherever you are in the world, wherever you are in the United States. Do some correspondent kind of things. But all of that is for future reference. Just wanting to let you guys know that we're going to be here and be here for a while, and appreciate the people over at Lunatic Outpost for letting us hop on their stream for 2 hours every week. That's a definite yay. We need to give them a hand for that. And that's it. That's what we're doing. So we're going to be here. We'll hop back into some more music since nobody's calling and nobody's camming up to talk. I'm not going to sit here and talk. Although I could. It'd be cool. But anyway. So we shall get back into some music. Yeah. You got something queued up there, Eternal? I hope he does. I can't hear what he's saying, so I guess we'll just... What was that? Odd noise in my headphones. Anyway, keep talking. I'm getting a note to keep talking about something, anything. What should I talk about? Hey, we could talk about gnomes. I've just found out about the gnome phenomenon. I was never really a gnome person. Cows were more my thing, hence the clever name. But gnomes seem to be a real phenomenon. And one day, you know what? One day we could have a paranormal week too. Speaking of gnomes, this really doesn't translate actually at all into anything, but we could have a paranormal night and everybody could call in with their weird, odd paranormal experiences. That would be a really interesting one because, man, I had this dream this week. I'm not going to get into it now because it's really creepy and I really would like to not revisit it because then I'll just go into kind of a looping nightmare and that'd be bad and I'd probably end up having to be medicated. But it really wouldn't be cool. Gnomes are not the devil's work. Gnomes are the work of some really cute person that decided to draw a little guy in a hat. I mean, I have no problem with gnomes. And I didn't even really mean to make any inference between gnomes and the paranormal. Just kind of realized that maybe I did that. Didn't really. See, and this is interesting because the people in Tiny Chat, if you're not listening or in Tiny Chat and you're listening from somewhere else, the people in Tiny Chat are actually they're actually talking to me. And this is the interactive part. This is interesting. Talking about gnomes, and then someone's requesting talk about cake. I could talk about cake. We could do a whole show about cake. We could do a whole month's worth of shows about cake. Cake is like God. No, cake is not like God. What are you talking about? No, cake is like cake, but cake is really cool. Never met a cake I didn't like. Cake rocks. Cake is awesome. Cake is the best thing ever in the whole entire world. I'm hearing screaming from the studio. Exactly. Well, this is what you get when people tell me to talk. I will just go off into Kung Fu. Exactly. Go off into Kung Fu and have no idea what I'm talking about.
And here I was starting to think you were just a sadistic psycho bitch.
Oh, wait. I was channeling the chick from that movie. What was the chick's name from that movie? Did she even have a name? I don't even remember. God, that was awesome. So we went from gnomes to cake to Kung Pao. Wow, we are ending the show on a bang. Can I just wrap up that this is the joy of the internet? See, if we didn't have the internet, folks, we wouldn't be able to do this. We wouldn't be able to have anything. No, it wasn't Uniboob. That was the chick that fell out of the barn, actually. I'm talking about the that one. Exactly. Her. Kung Pao is the best movie ever. Followed closely by Raising Arizona and the Matrix trilogy, but I digress. We could have a movie night too. See, that's the point. We could do anything on this show, and that's the beauty of the internet. We could do anything. Talking to, 12 people from around the world. Happen to know a few of them are in Australia. One of them's in Alaska, and I don't know where the rest of you guys are from. But if we didn't have the internet, we wouldn't be able to do this. None of this. And it's well, then screw you. Sign off. Don't be online. To heck with it then. See? And that's the beauty. I can tell them that. I can say that. And that's all that this show was really about, is to let you guys know that, if you've really got something to say, get out there and say it, because you never know what kind of a difference you're going to make. And yeah, we've digressed into talking about gnomes and cake and weird, strange movies, but, we can do that. We can do that, and we can also talk about serious things. And the only way that anything is ever going to get changed, ever going to get better, ever going to make any kind of a difference in anybody's life is if we actually talk about things. That's kind of a running theme for the past 3 weeks or so. But it's true, especially in these times, more so in these times than ever before. We need to talk to each other. We need to have fun. We need to sit here and listen to good music, talk about something serious, have a little bit of fun. And that's pretty much what this show is about every week. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Kind of a laid back show. We're going to be back next week. Don't know what we're going to be talking about, but we will have a thread midweek over at Lunatic Outpost, if anybody would like to go over there. That is, hang on a second, I believe it's lunaticoutpost.com. Yes, it is. We'll give them a little plug because, heck, they've hosted us for 3 weeks straight here. Why shouldn't we give them a little bit of love? Letting us use their stream, and we certainly do appreciate it. So check over at lunaticoutpost.com, say about, Wednesday or Thursday, something like that. We'll get a thread up about what next week's show is going to be, and we hope that you guys can join us next week. We would certainly enjoy it. We appreciate everybody who joined us over at Tiny Chat. We had a bunch of new people actually come on here in the last little bit. And we appreciate that. I hope you guys will come back next week and hang out with us, and maybe somebody will get a little bit braver. We can always count on Omega to call in. And Omega, we love you, and we want you to call in always and give your opinions. But everybody else out there listening, that's your homework for next week. is to get brave. Get brave, memorize the phone number, and call in about whatever it is that we're going to be talking about next week. So, we want to have all of you guys chime in because that's what I said. Interactive reality radio doesn't roll without you guys. We'll still be here anyway. But if you guys want to make the show fun, interesting, and have a good time for 2 hours on Saturday night, you guys got to get involved. So, that's it. We're about out of here. It is almost 10 o'clock here, so we're going to sign off. This is The Late Show. We enjoyed having you. Hope you guys had some fun and thought about some stuff. And my sign off tonight, I guess, is say what you need to say. Say it. Get out there, talk about things, talk about people, talk to people in your community. Don't talk about people because that's rude. Talk to people in your community. Find out what's going on. Find some news in your neck of the wood and share it with somebody else, because we can all get through this if we actually know what's going on. So, anyway, love ya. We'll see you next week. Enjoyed all of you guys. Appreciate you. And we are out. This is The Late Show. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.